Hey friends, Tricia Drake-EOS implementer and podcaster. Welcome to From Stuck to Scaling, the podcast that will help you take your business to the next level. Today, I'm super excited about our guest, Jessica Gaylor with Divine Window Solutions. She has a lot to tell us today. Her and her spouse, Dustin, her husband, they own a company together. She's going to tell us all about that, give us a lot of tips and tricks on how to run a successful business with your partner. So let's take it away. So Jessica, thank you so much for joining us today. Yeah. I'd love to just hear your story. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you guys do.
Sure. So my name is Jessica Gaylor. I am the co-owner of Divine Window Solutions and Trifecta PPF with my husband. We established our company in 2018. My husband trained in PPF and window tint actually in Florida. So at the Toyota manufacturing plant there. So he learned how to do it very efficiently and high quality. And he has family here in Idaho though. So he moved back home and was working for other local tint shops and dealerships in the Pocatello area when we met. And so it's always been kind of something that he's wanted to take on one day, was starting his own shop and running his own business. So after we got together, he started his business plan and then hit the ground running. And once he was established and ready to expand, we started to work together. And we've been doing that ever since. So now we have two pretty well-established businesses. And now we're kind of looking at kind of what next steps are for us. So it's been fun.
Well, good. Okay, so to those of us who have no idea what you're talking about, what is PPF?
That's very normal that you say that. So yes, people tell me that on the phone when they're actually calling for it. So PPF is paint protection film. So clear brow, ceramic coating, and window tint. Those are our specialties for automotive. And then it transfers very well into what we do for commercial residential, because we do residential and commercial window tint, security treatments. And then we've most recently onboarded blinds, shutters, shades, as well as exterior solutions for families and businesses. So if they have an outdoor patio space where they need an exterior screen. And then we do have ballistic shields and riot retrofits for certain situations. But those are really, we've done a lot for government buildings and public buildings for those scenarios.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not necessarily what I would need.
Not for most homes. Not your standard home install.
Good to know. Good to know, especially here in Idaho.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you, so Dustin had already started the business before you met him.
Well, no, it was in his mind.
Okay.
It was in his mind's eye for sure. Because I remember feeling very intrigued by that. Actually, when we had our first date.
Okay.
That's a surprising answer from someone that you're on a date with for the first time. You're like, so what are kind of your life goals and your plans? And having him throw out that he was considering starting his own company was very cool and unique. And he was serious, which was also surprising, right? Because sometimes people just talk to talk. So it was exciting.
Okay. That's awesome. All right. So then he starts the business. Things are going well. What's your background?
Sure. So I'm from Bozeman, Montana originally.
Okay.
And my family is actually originally from central Montana. We were homesteaders during the actual Homestead Act. And my great-grandfather built his outbuildings and our farm at that time. And it's still there. My grandfather ran the property, but his kiddos didn't come back to run the farm. So we still have the farmhouse and the barn and all the outbuildings, but our neighbor runs the farming ground for us. So we lease it to him to maintain operation on it, but we still own it all together. My grandfather passed away at 96. So we've had a lot of time with him, luckily.
That's awesome.
At least still shared in the family. But in Bozeman, I got my degree in animal science, livestock management industry at MSU. I took a job with AgriBeef, which is a Northwest beef company. So I worked in Washington for a couple of years at one of their main yards. And then an opportunity opened up in American Falls, Idaho.
There you go.
And I was like, sounds good, because it was closer to Montana. So that's where I met Dustin. And, him having his ideas around business ownership was really exciting. And it was funny because in our conversations, he would always be like, well, how do you start a business? Like, what do I need to do? And I'm like, I don't know. I was like, I'm not sure, but I know that there's resources out there. Right. So I gave him this book that I had bought a while ago, like how to start your own business, like a DIY project. And he hated the book, by the way, but he figured it out on his own. And he went to the SBDC local resources and took his business plan in, and they helped him refine it. It was great. They're like, you're already like 75% of the way there as far as completion goes for your plan. This is a solid one. And then between him and I, we secured our funding for him to get Very it nice. off the ground. And it's been that way ever since. So we always have bounced ideas off of each other and worked on it together. But he is the initial gear turner for sure.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. So quickly, is the SBDC here in Idaho Falls?
So they have, I don't know what you would call them. Like the Innovation Center is affiliated with the SBDC.
Yeah.
So the Innovation Center is essentially ISU's small business resource here in Idaho Falls. And they do wonderful work. But Dustin, when he originally started, he worked with Ann Swanson at ISU in Pocatello.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah. All right. Perfect. Yeah. The SBDC is a great thing for small businesses.
Yes.
They will help you. I mean, as like getting your LLC or your corporation set up, all of those things. So shout out to them. Yeah. I know they have a couple satellite offices here in Idaho Falls. Frosty Wilson, she's amazing. And then paired with the Innovation Center, the Idaho Innovation Center here in Idaho Falls, a great place for small businesses to go, for resources, places to rent, all of those types of things to really help you get lay a great foundation to building your business. So that's awesome. All right. So at what point did you guys decide, like, Jessica, why didn't you come into the business and help me out? What did Dustin say?
Well, essentially after my time at AgriBeef, I was working toward kind of a promotion in my mind. I really wanted to move up into the upper level management. Okay. I'd managed different teams for them for about 5 or 6 years, and they had recently decided to bring in a new GM, and that was fine. He did a great job, really nice guy, but it didn't seem like there was going to be more opportunity for me moving forward. Gotcha. So, and I wasn't going to move, obviously, because once you start a business, you're a little bit in your location for a while. So, and we had started our family at that time, and having a little more time with my family was something that I was passionate about, right? Being with your kids when they're really little. And so he expressed that, you seem a little unhappy. I'm doing really well. And I feel like this is the time where I could bring somebody in to help expand operations. I could train you in installing and selling, so we could tag team projects together and start covering more spots at a time. And so I was excited about that. It was different for sure, but it was a good transition. And I'm really grateful for his training and coaching. He really brings a unique mindset to how to manage a business and provide customer service as well as selling. Sometimes people think of selling things as off-putting. Yeah. You're like, I don't want to be sold something like. So I always appreciated his approach to it, where we always present solutions to our customers. People call with a problem, and we get to be a problem solver. So that's how we've always approached our interactions and our relationships, because we want them to be happy, not just be a one and done sale.
Right. Mm-hmm. I love that. So basically focusing on the outcome of the sale instead of just trying to get someone to buy your product.
Yeah.
It's like, what's the impact that you're going to have on them? What is your product going to do for them? Because there's, a lot of things, right? I mean, a car, that's a huge investment.
Yes.
Especially now, like cars are just getting more and more expensive. But yeah, I love the way that you guys think about that. Mm-hmm. Protecting someone's investment instead of just like, hey, how can we sell this person and all of those things.
Well, definitely. He's always said the most, expensive things that people will buy probably in their lifetime is their home or their car.
Yeah.
So, you're putting money into those things to help those people get better longevity out of it, or, have an added privacy, be more comfortable in their home. It's fun. And when people are just like in love with what you do, it's always a good feeling when you're done.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay. So looking at you and Dustin, and I know Dustin too, great guy. And your marriage is still going strong, right?
Yep.
So, but running a business together can probably blur the lines a little bit. What advice do you have for other people that might be married and running a business? How do you guys separate that? Or if it's not really separated, how do you make it work so that you can still stay married?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think there has to be a lot of grace, obviously, in the whole process. Because if you think about it objectively, like when you go to a job, you have a boss, you have coworkers, the experiences with them can be very surface level. And you aren't as comfortable, so you're probably more reserved in what you would say or what you would not say or what you would share about how you feel about something or might not. And so I think that's where a lot of the uniqueness and difference lie. Because we both have to kind of approach our days as, okay, we're at work now. This is the work hat. And we have to make sure that we maintain the work atmosphere, essentially, like the professionalism, right?
Yeah.
Because it's easy to lose your temper or get frustrated with something. And when you're at home, you losing your temper looks different than when you're at work.
True.
Or it should.
Yes. Yes.
But also, we should work on not losing our tempers. But things get frustrating sometimes. That's the reality of it. So whenever anything has a lot of heat around it or we're frustrated or anything like that, or a problem needs to be solved, I'm kind of the problem solved person. I just like to, let's talk about it. Let's pick out everything that needs to be addressed so we can figure out the best solution. Dustin's kind of a molar. And I don't know if that's specific to just us. That might be female-male dynamics. I'm not sure if that's anything, but I just try to respect his space. And what he has asked in our journey together was to make sure that we have those conversations while at work, and then we're at home, they are paused. So, and that's been a difference for me, because I'm like, well, what's the difference? I'd rather just continue on and get it solidified. But I can respect that. So it's boundary setting too, right? Being like, okay, we're not at work. We'll talk about that tomorrow. And then being okay with being like, yeah, you're right. We will. That's okay.
Yeah.
I'll see you then. Whenever I leave the shop at the end of the day, I'm like, all right, see you guys tomorrow. I'm like, except for you. I'll see you at home.
See you at home. That's awesome. So that's really good. I know in the work that I do, right, being an EOS implementer, I do work with a lot of family-owned businesses, married people working, and some people, it's a huge issue. It can be a big complaint. Like, we work all day together, we're talking about work, and then we get home, or we work from home together, and now it's just another 8 hours of us hashing out what should have, what we wanted to talk about, or all of those things. And I think you kind of hit on the head just saying it's a boundary that you just don't cross unless it's agreed upon by both of you. But, that's why EOS has some good tools built in, I think, to really help people create that elusive work-life balance, right? That everybody talks about. It's a little bit of a buzzword. And, it's different for every person. What is a work-life balance for you might not be the same for me. And so I think understanding that with your spouse and saying, if they want to work more, great, but this is my 100% at work, and that's what I'm going to give. Because you're also a mom, and you take care of the house and do all of those things.
There's
right?
always something to do.
There is.
Yes.
There's always something. That's true. Okay, so we first met when you were taking the EOS Mastermind. When you were a part of that, which was really awesome. Just to stroke my ego a little bit, why don't you give me some feedback on that class?
I thought it was very helpful and exciting. I really liked how you guys broke down all the aspects of the book. I thought it was interesting that you didn't actually carry out the class in the same order that the book was written. And so I don't know if I ever asked that question as to why, but I just didn't question it. I'm like, I'm sure it makes sense. I'll just do what I'm told to do. And it all worked out in the end. So
that's funny. So when I started my journey with EOS, before I was an implementer, I started reading the book, and we were just implementing on our own. We were self-implementing, which some people do. And once I became an implementer, I realized the same thing. The book is written a little bit different than the way that we actually implement in the room. I'm not sure if that was on purpose or anything.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I have actually asked that question. But it's still, I mean, overall the system is really, really great. So what do you think is the one thing that EOS has helped you guys in your business the most?
Sure. Well, I think what it helped with initially was I really did love the accountability chart.
Yeah.
Just because it answered a lot of questions as to why pretty much me and my husband, step on each other's toes sometimes.
Right.
Because it's like, well, when you're the business owner, the entrepreneur, you feel like all the responsibilities are your own, right? Even if you have teammates underneath you, you still may feel like, oh, I'll just double check that, or I'll just take care of this real quick. I have a minute, so I'm just going to do that. Which,
right.
When you're in a job, it's like once you're done making the fries, you're going to wait till you need to make more fries. So you don't go start bugging the burger people, unless you're me. I'm just kidding.
All right.
But I love the accountability chart because it really spoke to, okay, so we're kind of going around one another and we're not following a proper chain of command, which is creating a lot of tensions ironically between the business owners. So you would think that everything would be hunky-dory between the married couple business owner because, they probably communicate all the time or they have it all figured out. It's like, not necessarily, right? And then also at the same time answering the questions of what feeds your soul? Like, what do you like to do?
Mm-hmm.
What are you good at? And what do you like to do? And what are you good at but don't like to do? And where does your time reside currently?
Yeah.
And that can speak to the direction that you want to take the business in, which
right.
can reflect on your vision board. So I loved that part of it. And I think the other tool that was very important for us was the people analyzer. It's hard to be objective and score people or decide if they're a good fit. And we were not new to core values. We'd had our core values established prior to EOS, just from kind of chasing down any and all business entrepreneur things that we could implement into our company. But there was no real organization or ability to implement in a certain way. So that's what I thought was unique about EOS. It made me think of getting a box of tools or gears. That's where I feel like when you get business information, it's like, oh, here's another tool and I'll just put it in this box or I'll figure out how to incorporate it later. I felt like EOS was a box of tools, but also the instructions of how to put it together so it can run. And you're like, oh, that makes sense. So you can figure out what you need to tweak or what you need to grow or what you need to cut out in order to make it better. So it wasn't just information. It was a journey, right? A path.
Right. Okay.
And the people analyzer was great because what you're talking about, like, well, they do a pretty good job, but I don't know, they don't show up, but they did do a good job over there, but they also said that weird thing to so-and-so. It's hard to be objective. So the scoring, the simplicity of like, no, yes or no, or is it plus minus? And then you set that against yourselves. It's like, okay, it's pretty clear they're just not a good fit, and that's okay. They could be a great fit for somebody else. It's not personal.
Right. Right. Yeah. Take a little bit of, it helps you be a little bit more objective than feeling the emotions and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember when I was a younger manager, I didn't really want to get to know anybody because once you know someone's story, you're involved in their life and then all of a sudden it's emotional and you're like, they're not doing their job, but oh my God, I can't let them go because they're the only breadwinner. And so I realized, later that was not the best way to be a great manager, a great leader. And so, with these tools, I feel like it helps elevate you a little bit above that. You can still be human because letting someone go is very difficult and people are doing it, every day, but it's very difficult, but that's great. So the people analyzer is just a tool that we use to help say, are people living our core values on a daily basis, right? Are they exhibiting these? Because we use our core values for our people. That's what we do, to hire the right people, to let people go, right? To review, reward, and recognize. And so that's awesome. I love that. I remember when we were going through the accountability chart, and I think you've shared with me then the aha moment. We find, Dustin fits here, I fit here, and now there's no overlap. We both know who's doing what we're accountable for, all those things. So that's awesome. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
I appreciate that. All right. So let's ask a really hard question right now for you. What is one sacrifice that people can't see that's really essential when you're running a business?
Sure. So sacrifice. I'm trying to think. I feel like it's probably the risk aversion. So there is no pause really. When you're starting a business, it's just all or nothing to an extent, right? So if you do have someone working and someone running a business, you can obviously balance risk a little bit. But once you're both in the business, it's pretty much all in, and there is no failing at that point. So that's the part that people don't see. I think there is a lot of sometimes ideas of, oh, they're doing so well and they're making so much money and it's so easy. And it's like, it's constant struggle. You have to constantly, sharpen that blade. So that way you're constantly trying to get better and outperform. And Dustin's always been really good at that, actually. He'll go down rabbit holes of educating himself on new products and tools and customer service, CRMs, anything and everything that we can do to be one of the top companies in this area. And he'll also research companies in larger cities and make sure we're mimicking the top performers and bringing that to our community. So it doesn't really shut off. And so that's just kind of something you have to be aware of, is that it's not as simple as a day job where you get to just go and you do your business and then you come home and you just unplug and turn your phone off and you can get to there as a business owner, but you have to be risk averse, and that has to be a conversation with your family. And then you have to understand that sometimes the business just comes first, and that's the way it is.
Okay, so yeah, there are a lot of sacrifices that you have to make, and I'm sure you've made quite a few in the past. Was there ever a time when you might have looked at Dustin and said, like, gosh, it's do or die right now. This may not work?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because, sometimes you make a decision to open a shop in a city that you don't even live in. But we're going to make it work.
Who would do that? I don't know. Okay.
Yeah. Well, in the game plan, like for us originally when we opened our automotive shop here in Idaho Falls was, we'll establish it. They have a great new build over there off Yellowstone, right? Patriot Park Complex. We loved the location. And we'll catch all the people coming and going from Jackson, right around our target market. And the people traveling from Idaho Falls to go vacation or whatnot, go to Island Park. And it went really well. But the first year or so, year and a half, it takes a lot to just get that ball rolling, right? You can build it. And that was kind of what Dustin said. He's like, we're going to build it and they will come. Well, they did, but it took a minute. So you have to be ready for that stuff where it's like, how do you make it work? Because there's always an option. You can always pivot. And I think Dustin's always been he always brought good ideas as far as how to pivot, right? Because even when we were first establishing our company and we needed different income streams during our slow seasons. So he essentially brought in, I think this was after his first year of business. He was like, well, it's really low cost to entry and I know I can do a good job. I have all the ladders because of the windows that we were already doing. I think we could do some Christmas lights in the winter season because people aren't thinking about tint when it's cold. And we didn't have the automotive shop at that time. I was like, how much is the startup cost? And he told me, and I was like, okay, and then what would be the mark, what would that look like? How many homes? And he told me, and I was like, I don't know why we're still talking about it. Let's just go. Let's get it done. Because you just think of how to keep the wheel turning. Right. And if you're unable to do that, I think that's something people just need to be aware of, is like, you need to be creative. And sometimes it's not exactly what you think it's going to look like for a little while. Whether it be you have a supplemental company to support your main one. And then that's a hard transition on the other side where, oh, geez, we're getting really busy and we don't have time for this supplemental company that we built now. And so sometimes that means quick sales, even if it's just to somebody who's already established and you're not looking to make a profit off of it. But that's kind of something we've always done where it's like, well, please take care of our customers. Like, we obviously don't just want to drop them. So we didn't look to make a bunch of money off of pushing the supplemental companies away. But once you get to the size where you're no longer able to support them in the right way, then yeah, you need to make that decision. But it's a scary decision because you're like, oh man, well, that makes up this percentage of the income for the year right now. Yeah. What's next? There's always a what's next. And you can make your projections, and then new competitors will come and the markets will change, housing, commodities, all that stuff. So, because the car market, right?
Right.
So it's been a journey, but I've always appreciated his ability to come up with very creative ideas to pivot, serve our customers better, take care of the customers that we have. And then, over time, we thought we were going to move to Idaho Falls, back to my original comment. The housing market did change. So it was like, man, we're going to sell our home in Pocatello and we'll have to buy something smaller, probably older, pay more in interest, and probably have a higher payment just to be here. Or we can dial this back and bring the shop to us.
Yeah.
So he found a location that was perfect for us in Pocatello off of Garrett Way. The building had a vacancy for about a year. And so we were able to negotiate our way in.
Nice.
And negotiate our way out of our current lease. So we just made our goal last year to simplify. And now this year we're kind of just trying to be steady. Like we simplified. And now this year we just want to kind of maintain our foundation and then reset and see where we're going to go now. Ride the wave.
Ride the wave. I love it. When you say the word simplify, it just makes my little EOS heart just so happy. Yes. I love it so much.
Of course.
Okay, so quick question. You said you love how Dustin with his ideas and stuff. How do you best, because you're the integrator, right, in the company. He's technically the visionary. He's the visionary, EOS terms. But as the integrator, is there any time when you have actually said, no, we're not doing that? It's not a great idea. What's the best way for you to communicate that?
Yes. So, we've had different back and forths over the years. I remember the first one being when he first wanted to start the company, to be honest. And it wasn't about starting the business. That's not what it was. But Dustin's very extravagant. He wants everything to be big and beautiful, and it's right away. If it can't be that right away, it won't work. So I disagree. I'm a little more like MacGyver it. I'm like, we can figure this out and get this wheel to turn, and then we're going to make it look better over time. So I feel like the first time when he was ready to start the company, because we had our idea of startup costs, and he's like, hey, it's going to cost this much to get things going. I was like, really? Is it really going to cost that much? I said, bare minimum, tell me like the bare minimum essentials, and we've whittled it down and then got it going.
Yeah.
So it's kind of things like that. I'm very numbers oriented. So like if he has an idea, I'm pretty good at putting it into our system and seeing how it fits into the machine. As far as me navigating his ideas or having to tell him no or yes, it's not as often as you think. Because I should say Dustin's very thoughtful about his ideas. He doesn't just throw them out willy-nilly. And even when he showed me the new shop in Pocatello, I was a little like taken aback.
Yeah.
Just because I was like, oh my Lanta, we've just got everything set up in Idaho Falls. We're 3 years over here and we have our systems in place there. And now you want to bring everything back over here. And he explained it to me. He's like, I've been thinking about this for about 3 months. I've been looking at this building. I've already started talking with the building owners.
Oh, wow.
This is the change. This is our lifestyle change, and this is what it would look like. And then after all that, I'm like, okay, yeah, it makes perfect sense. Really. Is it a simple change? Is it easy? No, because we have to dial back installations. We have to close. We have to move and then reset up. And no, it wasn't simple, but it was worth it. And so the end goal, his visionary goal, made sense.
Gotcha.
Me as the integrator and the person doing the logistical steps, sometimes I'm like, I thought we were going this way.
Yeah.
But that's why I kind of need him. Otherwise, I'd probably still be working in Idaho Falls.
Yeah.
Just driving back and forth, trying to make it work. And it was like, this could be, we could do this differently. So
that's awesome.
He's kind of the uplooker and I'll hit the ground running.
Yeah.
And we kind of balance each other in that way.
I love it. All right. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. So a lot of people, and when I say a lot of people, I mean me, we don't know much about window film or tinting.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, sometimes I don't even know. So what surprises customers the most about what you do?
Sure. Well, I guess the first thing probably for our area is a lot of people are unaware that you can do it on your house or your business. So when they think of window tinting or films, they always think of their vehicles. And then when you do think about doing it on your house, people are like, well, I don't want to make it dark. I don't want to make it look like a cave. And then there's a misconception of like, if I do want to block out energy, it has to be black. No,
Right.
not the case. Window film has come a long way, even over the last 20 years. It's actually very impressive. And hearing about all the different new products that the main manufacturers are coming out with, it's pretty cool and unique. So there's solutions for whatever people need. So if someone is calling because they want to protect all their paintings or taxidermy or new floors or furniture from fading, you can use clear films on your home that will give you the UV protection, but not change the look of your house at all. Like you wouldn't even know they're tinted.
Right.
And then there's other clients who live in neighborhoods where the neighbors can just look right through their entire house.
Yeah.
And they're like, I would just love to be able to have my blinds open during the day and feel comfortable, right? Have my kids running around in the house, them not seeing what we're doing or where or when we come and go. And so we have privacy films that you can use. And yes, some of them are darker, but there's also balanced options where it's a subtle change, but you have added reflectivity to the outside, gaining you that nice, comfortable feeling. So when you're in your home, you're like, okay, I know they can't just stare right at me and watch me as I'm doing my business. And it actually cuts the glare off of your window, so your view is more comfortable to even enjoy.
Well, I'm sold. I'm going to give you my address and you can go there. I live in the dark because I always have to have the blinds down. Mm-hmm. Everyone around us has white homes, and then we have a white vinyl fence.
The fences.
Yeah. Today I was in my house and I was like, it's so dark in here, and I opened the blind and I'm blinded because of the reflection of the sun. Because I'm like, oh, it's finally sunny.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, oh, I need to enjoy it. And I had to shut them because the glare was so much. So, I mean, that's awesome. I love that. So interesting. Okay, so that's really awesome. I didn't realize that. I'm now very excited that I can have my window. My husband will be excited too that I can have the blinds open now. So, like, what are the top 3 things that maybe people don't know that you can use this window film for?
Yes. So the top 3 things pretty much always is energy rejection benefits. So it does have an ROI, UV protection, as well as privacy, right? So those are kind of your top 3 for residential installations. Commercial, there is one additional if you're using security films or anti-graffiti films. So if you have an issue with people spray painting your glass or vandalizing, trying to scratch it, we can do clear graffiti films outside to protect your glass so you're not replacing a window. You're just replacing the film if people want to be buggers at night sometimes.
Do that.
Yep. Oh. Or you can use security films. So if someone wants to break into your business or school, government building, essentially security films are delayed entry. So a lot of times people doing smash and grab crime are just planning on breaking a window and jumping in or breaking a window and reaching in to open the door. If they hit the window and it does not break and they realize they're going to have to fight their way in, a lot of times they just run away
the delay
because they don't want people to see. They're like, oh, this isn't going to take 10 seconds. I'm out.
Like, they're efficient thieves.
Yeah.
There you go. We want them to be as efficient as possible. Let's make it hard for them.
You've got to put some barriers in place. Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. Well, perfect. So going back, you talked a little bit about like your grandpa and the farm, your great grandpa, I guess, and the farm and all of that stuff. Maybe this is back in that time, but who were the people in your life that first supported you guys when you were starting out? That really made an impact to you, maybe even more personally than on your business side?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've had friends and family, so being supportive of the ideas, right? And I know one of Dustin's good friends, Polly, I don't know if it's his home garage or shop situation, but he's always been super gracious with Dustin. And when we were first starting, when Dustin was trying to figure out places to do people's vehicles, because we were mobile when he first started for automotive, Polly would let him use his shop. So just things like that meant the world to him, because when you don't have a lot and people just give what they have or what they can, they might not think it's a big deal, but it really can make the difference, just making something a bit simpler for somebody who's trying to build something.
Yeah.
And so we try to do our best to give back to those people as much as we can. So, because Polly has a couple of nice cars that we've done correction on and coating for him. And
very nice.
Yeah. So it's just give and take. And then the other people that come to mind, my husband, Dustin, he's always really respected my parents. My mom has her master's in business.
Mm-hmm.
And then my dad was actually the VP of admin and finance for MSU for a handful of years, if not more. Can't remember. But they're very well versed in like business and financials. So
very nice.
He sought their feedback with his business plan. And it was just kind of interesting because they looked at it objectively and tried to give him really good feedback. And they were impressed by the plan he had put together. But it's kind of funny, I guess, looking at it now in hindsight, because when Dustin showed them the numbers that he was projecting for our opportunity in the market, they actually doubted it a little. They were like, I'll be surprised if you're able to do this in this area with this type of product, because Idaho's cold. Sometimes people think tint, they think big cities in the desert. So more central United States and down in the South. But it really can extend all across the country and have those benefits wherever you're living, because we ironically have our summertime clients who need the energy rejection and the glare reduction or privacy. But we also have our winter clients because the angle of the sun changes,
right?
And they're just blinded all winter. And there's the snow. So they're like, you either have the vinyl fence or the white snow.
That's true. That's true. I can't win.
You can't. No, it's like, gosh, shut the blinds again. We'll just live in a cave.
Oh, I love it. I love it. All right. So if you had to do this over again, would you support Dustin doing this business?
Yes. Yes, I definitely would. I don't think it's worth living your life with what ifs. And, I wonder what would happen if we did this or did that. You only get to live once, and it's not about doing it right. I don't even think there is a right or wrong way to do it, actually, even business or life. We're all just doing our best. And that's one thing I've really appreciated from my time at the Innovation Center and being a part of different mastermind groups is sometimes when you're a small business owner or probably just a normal person, you think, oh man, everybody else is so figured out. They have all the answers.
Yeah.
And so getting the opportunity to sit with other business owners and chat with them about their issues that they're trying to work through currently. And you're like, oh, I've had to do that. You have to do that? You're wrong. Like, I thought you had all of the answers. It's very comforting to know that you're not unique. As sad as that sounds, it's like you're really not. We're all on the struggle bus together. It's just that. How is your attitude while you're on it?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that so much. Well, we live in the social media world, and nobody wants to put their failures out on social media, but we all have them.
Mm-hmm.
We all have them, and it's so amazing to hear from other people, especially in those masterminds. It's like they look like they have it all together, but on the inside, it's like the duck on the top of the water. They're just kind of gliding along, but underneath their legs are just going as much as you can. And so, oh man, yeah. So that's awesome. But if you were living the absolute perfect life, like give us a glimpse into one of your days when you have a day off. Sure. What do you do? What's your guilty pleasure?
Well, I mean, Dustin and we are foodies. Okay. We love to have a good meal. So if we are going to have a day off, usually it involves trying out a restaurant that we like. We feel like if you're going to go out, it might as well be good food.
Yeah.
Don't waste the money on eating out if it's not going to be, worth it. You don't want to feel sick later. And then he's always loved hot springs. And so do I. So we love going to lava, and so do our kids. Lava. If locals they'll razz me. What is it called? Razzing? Yeah.
Yep.
That's okay. Sorry, I'm from Montana. But we love to go there. And we most recently just took our kids for the first time last summer to float the river.
Yeah.
We kind of made it a point to do just some kind of little exertion before the school year kicked off. Because we are so busy and sometimes we overlook taking the time to plan those things and the logistics of small business and like, oh, who's going to do that if we go here and do this and then making the wheel continue to turn while you're not there. It gets complicated, but they had a blast. If you have not floated the river, you should. And my kiddos, Charlie's 8 and my son Francis is 4. So life jackets. We did it towards the end of summer. Water levels lower. They were fine. We did the family tube. They had a blast.
That's fun.
I just held on to Francis for dear life. I'm like, you're not
right.
Float away.
No, that is a fun river run. Actually, that's really fun to do. I love it.
I've never done the winter one. Have you?
No.
Oh gosh, Dustin has done it. The Fire and Ice Festival. Have you heard about it?
No.
Oh, you haven't? Okay.
No.
Well, I'm pretty sure in February, and they float the river. Yeah. So people dress up in costume, to my understanding.
Yeah.
And then they float the river in the middle of winter, freezing, and then they get out and they go around a big bonfire. I've not done it. I don't think I can do it.
Yeah. No, it's like that cold plunge thing. It's just not happening. That's a no.
I think if you had enough to drink, you could try, but I don't like doing that anymore either because I hate being sick.
Yeah. Oh man. All right. Oh shoot, that's funny. So, if you have to cook at your house, who cooks?
Well, kind of both, really. Dustin, for a while, also new business ownership. It's really hard to make sure you're taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
As far as planning your meals, packing your meals, eating the right stuff. So that's been something that we've been working on a lot over the last year, actually, is just being more intentional with what we're buying and then meal prepping at home. So a lot of times Dustin will like to cook in bulk for the meal. Yeah. So it's usually like chicken breast or chicken thighs. And they're always so good. He's really good at cooking, whether it's in the oven or on the barbecue or a smoker. He does like to smoke. And then me, I don't know. It's hit and miss. Half the time I'm just like, what's in my fridge? What will my kids eat without crying? Because I just can't do it tonight, And half the time I try and they still cry. I'm like, oh gosh, you don't understand how hard I worked to try to make you
just
happy.
To figure this out and make you happy.
And then balance nutrition with kids' meals. Like it's all changing stuff like with family and busyness. But I actually most recently used ChatGPT and just asked it. I'm like, okay, what are some like actually real food solutions that kids will eat? And I was pretty shocked, actually. One of the answers was just a hamburger, potato, cheese bake, where you just chop up the potatoes and put cheese and burger in a pot and you just put some salt on it. And I was like, there's no way they're going to eat this. They loved it. And ChatGPT just essentially was like, just keep it simple. You have to use foods that the kids can recognize. Don't overdo it. Do not overseason it. And then just let them pick their toppings. Like if they want to do the cheese themselves, let them do that. Because then they're in part of it. Let them choose their sides. I'm like, dang, we got to cater to them a lot to get them to eat. Like, but
it's a thing.
It is.
It's a thing. It's hard. No, I totally get that. That's one thing I wasn't aware of. I guess I would have never asked Chat to help me with that, but now I will. Except for that, I don't cook, and my husband totally cooks because I'm in charge of the dishwasher. So, Dustin. Dustin does the dishwasher.
Yes, he does the dishes. I do the laundry. Do we all do them exactly the way the other person likes? No. But if it's not your duty, you don't get to say anything about it. It's kind of our house rule. So it's like, if you have a problem with the way I'm doing it, you can do it. It's kind of the back and forth we have. So it's like, yep, if I have an issue with the dishes, I will just take care of it. If he has an issue with the laundry, he'll do it.
He'll just take care of it.
Other than that, just let me do it.
Right.
You got to not nitpick each other. Okay.
That's true. You would think that that's kind of a little bit of common sense. But I'm not sure that really is.
No, but it is hard. I mean, when you think about it, we meet each other and we're independent people. Mm-hmm. And then you're blending your life and you're like, that's how you wash dishes? Like, that's pretty odd. Like, that's not how you do it. It's like, well,
that's not how you do it.
Are you guys going to argue about the dishes every day? Or are you just going to like enjoy your dinner and move on with your life?
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that so much. That's really awesome. So, if someone listening is thinking about starting their own business, with their spouse or maybe just other family members.
Yeah.
What's the top piece of advice that you would give them?
Well, I would definitely make sure you have your plan in order. I would not overlook that step at all. I was really proud of Dustin getting that all together for himself and working on that with the SBDC because Anne was so gracious. She was wonderful. And I loved her feedback for him, because it's intimidating when you're like, oh, this is my idea and my research, and her giving him the feedback like, hey, this is like 75% done. And a majority of people come in here with an idea and they don't even want to do the business plan. If you can't do the business plan, probably don't start the business. Okay. Because that's probably going to be the simplest step in the entire thing.
If you don't have the wherewithal to sit and do that, you're probably not going to be able to run the business.
There's so many things that you have to just figure out, and and you'll realize, that people have their professions and they make money doing what they do. So, and as you're a business person and you start to develop your skills, you're going to start to see, oh, a lot of people are asking me of things, but I'm not able to provide this as a service anymore. Like I'm too busy to do this. So you have to be aware of that. Like as a business owner and entrepreneur, yes, there's resources, but a lot of it is your tenacity and ability to just grind that stone and continue to chase after what you want to do. Also, it is hard to have accountability in a family business. It just is, because just like with the dishes, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's technically his job. Is it the way I want it done all the time? No, I would love to give him notes. Same with business ownership. So, and then who's like the caller, who makes the final shots and the say. So one thing that helped with EOS a lot is making the time to have those conversations. Because in the L10 meetings, so the weekly meetings of just being able to look over the scorecard together, chat about headlines, things coming up. You wouldn't believe how many times people will talk to me and be like, well, I spoke with Dustin, I'm sure you know. And I'm like, why would I know we're married, but
right.
Fill me in. I'll take the notes and then we'll get back to you.
Right.
It's just natural. You're busy. Life is moving. Yes, we're married, but no, it doesn't always come home and we don't read each other's minds, believe it or not. So having also that set aside time for issues, chatting about issues, that's great, because then it's a soft way. All of it's a very soft way of being accountable.
Yeah.
An indirect way where you're not like, hey, have you done this yet? Have you done it yet? This is behind. Is it done? That gets old, especially if you are at home giving your spouse notes on what they're doing wrong.
They're doing wrong.
Then you're a business. It can't be like that. So just be aware, have a plan, and then be aware that having some structure in place for how to have those tough conversations or good conversations is very necessary.
Oh, I love that. That's great advice. I really, really like that. Again, like I said, even with the nitpicking thing, you'd think that would be kind of common knowledge, but there's that level of familiarity, right? Because you guys are married. I mean, you know everything about each other, but there's still, it's hard when you transition into business sometimes. Like you have to make decisions for the greater good of your business, but also save your marriage and save the sanity. And I've known some people that just say, I'm stepping out of the business. One of the partners steps out of the business so that it can thrive and grow and keep growing, and then the marriage thrives and keeps growing and is amazing, and that's awesome. So I've seen successful couples be successful in marriage and successful in a business. But I've also seen it on the flip side. But I feel like today you've given some really great tips on those things. So one last question for you.
Sure.
How has your definition of success changed since you've started this business together, if any?
Sure. Well, definition of success. So I definitely am a proponent of finding your wins.
Yeah.
So another thing I've really liked about the mastermind group I've been a part of, and then also our leadership meetings and our operations meetings, is taking that time to find your wins. So personal and business. And I just don't think that's something to be overlooked at all. is maintaining a sense of gratitude and excitement around even the smallest of things that come your way. Because it's pretty easy to get bogged down sometimes if you just focus on any little thing that's going to go wrong. And there's always things that are going to be changing and circumstances that are going to pop up. It's a reality. So, and especially with customer interactions and then different projects, managing expectations, managing timelines, making sure people fully understand what they're purchasing and what to expect afterwards. So there's always going to be a question that pops up, and maybe you're just in a grumpy mood that day and you're like, man, it's always this. And it's like, it's really not.
Right.
It's really not. It's just somebody had a question and you were in a bad headspace that day. But look at all these other happy customers over here. We just closed this project over here. Or I woke up this morning and I didn't have a congested nose finally.
Right.
Finding that personal win, or your kiddos got an award at school. Just being in your moment, in your day, and finding your successes, because yes, it's important to plan ahead, right?
Right.
Where's the company going to go? Where does this look long term? But those clarity breaks, even that EOS talks about, taking that time to reflect on what have we done? What do we think we want to do? And then how do I feel right now?
Yeah.
Because sometimes you build something and you're like, man, this is not what I wanted. You're like, it's running, it's successful. Maybe this isn't what I wanted.
Right.
And that's okay too. And Dustin and I have had conversations like that also. And it's not because really one thing or another, it's just stress, sometimes feeling overwhelmed. So taking that time to detach, step back, look at it objectively. And that's what I always try to do. Again, numbers. I'm like, well, I see an answer. What do you think about that? We could pivot this way. We could pivot back to being flexible to pivot.
Right.
It's never ending. So there is no winning. It's just finding your successes in the day and then keep doing your best. I think that's all we can do. You can't be too hard on yourself.
I love that. I love that. I'm not sure I could have said that better. So yes, celebrating the wins, that gratitude, right? Living in the gain instead of that gap.
Yeah.
Because there's always something in business that might not be going the way that we want it to go.
Yeah.
But really focusing on what is going right. What you focus on is what's going to start to improve, right? What's going to get better. So if you're just focusing on the wins, those will always, I think, multiply and get better. So
yeah. And like the last thing I guess I would share too is, I know it's important to be kind of reserved in different situations, but really seek out your people. I would recommend to business owners. I've really appreciated my time with the Innovation Center on the mastermind team, just because hearing people be vulnerable and share their things that they're struggling with, it is very beneficial. For one, you can actually give them advice on things you've done and it's worked for you. So you're helping. Now you're adding value, serving others. And then two, when you're able to share openly and freely, like, hey, this is what's I'm struggling with right now. It doesn't mean I don't think that your business is a failure. I don't believe that, right? Just because you have something you need to fix or need to change doesn't mean that it's failing. You just work on it, and you have to be honest with what that is so people can approach you and be like, hey, I know I have a couple of answers if you want to try them.
Right. Well, Jessica, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here today. It was so nice to get to know you. So how can people find you guys?
Sure. Well, our brick and mortar is in Pocatello. So our automotive shop is Trifecta Paint Protection. We're off of Garrett Way. So 2815 Garrett Way, Suite C. Okay. You'll see us. It's a big gray industrial building with a green and orange stripe across the front. You won't miss it. And big, beautiful windows on the front. We didn't make those happen. They were just there, coincidentally.
That's very nice.
And then we're online. So with our flat glass commercial residential, we always come to people's locations to assess the windows and measure. So, check us out on divinefilmsolutions.com, Facebook, Instagram, same business name, same with Trifecta. So we'll be there. Give us a follow, give us a phone call. We'd love to come and meet with you. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you again so much for joining us.
Happy to.
Lots of things that we learned today. Some tidbits and tricks about how to really run a successful business with your spouse. Jessica and Dustin have been doing this for quite a while, and they're doing really, really well. Great, successful business. Some different revenue streams, some other things that they've thought of to really make their business successful and leave a legacy with their families. I'm Tricia Drake, EOS implementer and podcaster. If you liked what you heard today, please feel free, hit that subscribe button, follow me on social media. My handles are Traction with Tricia. Next time on the podcast, we're going to be talking to an amazing real estate professional here in Idaho Falls. She's going to be able to share with us the state of the union with real estate in Southeast Idaho Falls, and give you some great tips and tricks on that as well. So see you soon.